Before we begin this episode, I need only 60 seconds of your attention. This week and this week only, we do our only fundraiser of the year, givetorch.net. What do? We ask our friends, our listeners, our viewers, our participants to partner with us so that we can continue doing the work we do. We don't cancel any classes. We don't make any exceptions for days off so that we can raise money. No, we want to continue to teach. We want to continue to influence in every way we can. Just so that you know, last year, in 2025, our videos grew 295% in their exposure, in their viewership. Our podcasts grew, some of them 10%, some of them 30, 40, 50, 60, some of them 200%. Really unbelievable growth in the listenership of our podcasts. But not only that, we have in our Torch Center, we have ongoing classes. We have lunch and learns. We have evening classes in chavaras in people's homes. We have our Torchwood community. We have Torch Unify, the new young professional division of Torch. We are guns blazing, doing unbelievable things, and we want your partnership. We need your partnership. GiveTorch.net. Thank you. And if you want to hear an extended pitch, you can listen at the end of this podcast. We have some testimonials from participants, and you can hear more about what we do. My dear friends, thank you and enjoy the episode.
You're listening to Rabbi Aryeh Wolbe of Torch in Houston, Texas. This is the Everyday Judaism Podcast.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Good morning. It is so wonderful to be here this beautiful Sunday morning for us to continue our journey in the Everyday Judaism Podcast, learning the practical how-tos of Jewish living. We are in the middle of the laws of Hagalah, which means kashering utensils, any item that was used for chametz, or used for dairy or meat that you would like to neutralize and now use it for Pesach or use it from dairy to meat or meat to dairy, you need to go through the kashering process, through the Hagalah process. What is that? You boil up water till the water is bubbling, about 212 degrees, and then you dip whatever it is that you would like to kasher into it. And then, so for example, if you used a ladle, a soup ladle, and by mistake you put it into the wrong pot. You put it into the meat pot instead of the dairy pot, or the dairy pot instead of the meat pot, whatever it was assigned to. You used it for the other. Or it was for year round, and now you want to use it for Pesach. So what you do is you put it into Hagalah. You put it into, so the rule is, we learned this before, last week, and that is for 24 hours it cannot be used. It cannot be used for 24 hours. So, for example, my Kiddush goblet, my Kiddush cup that I used yesterday for lunch, for Kiddush, wasn't used since then. And now today is going to be 24 hours since it was used. And now it's cleaned and I can kasher it. Okay? What's the process of kashering? Again, you boil up water to 212 degrees. It's bubbling water. You put it in, take it out, and you wash it with cold water. And now it has to be clean, has to be not used for 24 hours. Okay, prior to kashering it. Okay, now we're going to continue halacha number 9, and we're going to finish off this Siman number 116 in the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, in the abridged code of Jewish law. Kol davar shetzarich Hagalah, any item that requires Hagalah, kashering, lo mehani leklipa, peeling off a layer of the utensil, is not effective. So, for example, if you have any type of utensil that you're using, you say, I'm just going to chisel off a piece of the silver, or I'll sand it down one layer, and then I'll be able to use it. It's a new thing. No, because we said, as we mentioned previously, when you cook something with heat, the walls absorb the flavor. The walls of the utensil. So now, whether it's a ladle, whether it's a spoon, whether it is a pot or pan, it absorbs the flavor. The only way to take it out is with heat, that 212 degrees of boiling water. Eladavka Hagalah, the only way to kasher it is not by shaving off a layer of it, but rather through kashering, through Hagalah. Why? For the absorbed flavor penetrates the entire thickness of its wall. And the only way to take it out, if it goes in with heat, it goes out with heat. Okay, halacha number 10. Kitzur enumerates the laws pertaining to various utensils that cannot be properly cleaned. Kol kli she'ef shalanakosah hetev, any utensil that cannot be cleaned properly, kigon hanapa, like a sieve, v'kis shel rechaim, and the pouch of a mill in which the flour collects, v'chol salin shemishtamshin b'hem chametz, or any baskets that are used for chametz, v'riv eisen, and a grater, v'chol kli shepiv tzar, any utensil that has a narrow mouth, v'ef shel l'shavsham from ifnim, and you can't get your hand in to clean it inside. So any type of dish like that has a spout, or like a, let's say like a water pitcher. If you have like a silver water pitcher that gets narrow on the top, and now you can't put your hand in to clean it. You don't have any tool that can clean it really well, which makes it impossible to scrub it inside. O sheyesh lakanim, or which has tubing that cannot be properly cleaned out. Lo mehani le'Hagalah, kashering it with Hagalah does not work. Halacha number 11. Hatevos shematzni'in bohen ochlin kol hashana, bins in which foods are kept all year long. V'lefa'amim nishbach sham marak min hakderos, and at times soup or gravy from the pot spills into it, so it's little cracks and crevices. Tzrichin hechsher kal, they need a kashering of lesser intensity. Dehainu sheme'arim aleim rotchim, that you can pour hot water on it. V'dafka mitoch hakli shehirtichu bo esamayim, but it is to be poured only directly from the utensil in which the water had been boiled, the primary vessel. So for example, if you take like a tea kettle that's boiled up now to the bubbling temperature, you take that actual tea kettle and then with that you pour it onto that area that has the cracks and crevices. So the primary vessel, you shouldn't, if the water is transferred to a different vessel first, it is not effective. Why? Because as we know with the laws of Shabbos, it cools it off. So it's already not going to be that temperature. If you take something, I should probably test this, but if you take the hot water, I have a kettle which is used just for kashering. And they sell them in Costco, in Sam's Club. They sell, it's a Chefman kettle. It's a glass, beautiful. You can see the temperature of the water. So it'll start off at whatever room temperature is. Says 67 degrees, 72 degrees, whatever it is. And then that water starts boiling, and you see it getting all the way to 212 degrees. As soon as you take it off, right, it is cooler. You pour it into another vessel, it's probably now 180 degrees. It's still hot. It's still going to burn you. It's still yat soledes, but it's still enough to burn you that if you touched it, it would hurt. Yet it's not enough to kasher. It's not hot enough to kasher. V'lo yuzak asamayim, and he should not throw the water. Elo yashbechem olav b'kiluach. Rather, he should pour it on it with a stream. So you keep it in that kettle, which is the boiling kettle, and you pour it on the areas that need to be kashered. V'hashulchanos, and regarding the tables, noagin gamkein labin avonim, it is customary to intensely heat up stones as well. Umenichin al shulchan, they put them on the table. It used to be they had different types of tables than we have today. V'shovchan aleim rotchim, and then they pour the boiling water on top of those stones. Umolichin es ha'avonim mimakom lemakom, and the stones are moved from place to place. Be'ofen shiyu mayim rotchim al pnei kulo, in the manner that the boiling water reaches the entire surface of the table. So I'll tell you how, when we grew up, this is the way my father would kasher many areas of the kitchen. My father would boil up a wrench. You know those big wrenches? He would boil up a wrench till it was like smoldering heat of like it turns red. You see the metal turns red. And he would take that and put it along the surface and pour water on it, so that way, wherever the water was being poured, right, there's a boiling water, you have the smoldering hot piece of iron or whatever it is, and like this, every area that it was being poured on was being sufficiently at the temperature where it kashers whatever it comes in contact with. Okay, that's the level of heat that is required to remove everything. So the same thing with your table. You know how much food is eaten on our tables throughout the year? You think about it. That little crumb goes into one crack and a little crumb goes into another crack. What are you going to do now? So what we do in our home, we have a glass table. Glass does not absorb flavor. So now what you do is we clean it very, very, very well, and then what we do is we if you pour water on it, it might crack the table. If you pour the steaming hot water, it's glass. So what we do is we wrap it very, very, very well. We'll take like packing tape, not tape, but the packing like the saran wrapper, right? And then we will wrap the entire table and we'll have it covered for the entire Pesach, right? Now, if there's a piece of chametz that's in one little crack or crevice, again, we clean it and we spray it down and we clean it like it's never been cleaned before. And then we cover it. And don't forget that right before Pesach, what do? We nullify all chametz that's in our possession. So in nullifying it, if there's a little something that got stuck in that table that we didn't find, that we didn't notice was there, it was been nullified as well. So we have many protective layers here to ensure that whatever chametz is in our possession, whatever leavened bread is in our possession is nullified. Okay, halacha continues. But the bins and tables must be scrubbed first. You have to clean it really well first. And kashering it only after 24 hours have passed, like we mentioned with the silver cup that I'm going to soon kasher. It already for 24 hours has not been used. And it's spotless clean. Nevertheless, some are accustomed not to use the tables or bins even after kashering, unless a tablecloth or other article is spread upon them. And that's where the custom that many houses, you can go to many homes, that even though they kashered the counters, they still have a cover on it so as not to use direct surface that was once used for chametz. Is it necessary? No, it's a custom that some people do. Now again, there are people who, you'll see these photos or these AI images of people with the whole house is silver foiled, like the fridge is silver foiled, the floor is silver foiled, everything is silver foiled. That's just an extreme exaggeration, but it's funny. Okay, so laugh, but it's not necessary. Definitely not necessary. I will just tell you something very, very, very incredible. This is just a hack. Okay, a hack. I learned this from my son-in-law and daughter last year when they were biased for Pesach to clean silver. So silver gets tarnished, and you want to clean it before the holiday. You want it to be sparkling clean. So what you do is, it's amazing. Take a big bowl, line it with silver foil with the shiny side facing into the water. Take boiling water, put it in. Take baking soda and drop it in. Put some baking soda in there. You can add some salt as well. You put the silver in, and it will come out. You leave it in for 2 minutes. You take it out like it's brand new. You've never seen something like this. You don't have to scrub and put all those things. You learn hacks here too, not only halacha. Okay. Halacha number 12. Yudos ha-keilim tzrichim gam ken hechsher. The handles of the utensils also required kashering. Nevertheless, im eino nichnas letoch hayore, if the handle does not fit into the cauldron, the hot water basin, yochol lahachshir sayad b'shvichas rotchin olav. So you can kasher it for Pesach use by pouring boiling water on it. So you can take half, put half in, and then put the other half in. You can do that as well. Kol klei shtia. All drinking utensils, v'klei midos, and measuring utensils, tzrichin gam ken hagalah, they also need to be kashered. V'klei zchuchis, and glass utensils. Noagim b'medinos elu, the custom is in these countries, delo mehani lehu hagalah, that hagalah is not effective for them. See Shulchan Aruch and Rama or Chaim 451 with Mishnah Berurah. See also the Igros Moshe, who cites a number of customs with regard to various glass utensils. Pyrex and Duralex utensils cannot be kashered. They cannot be kashered. That's why they're made out of a special material. That's not glass. Pyrex and Duralex, these are they cannot be kashered. Whatever they are, they are. Okay, if they're meat, they're meat. They're dairy, they're dairy. They're chametz, they're chametz. They're Pesach, they're Pesach. I mean, they can become non-kosher for Pesach, but you cannot change its status, which is also a problem with the sinks. You have some of these sinks that are made out of ceramic sinks. You can't kasher those things, right? It is what it is because it fully absorbs and does not release what is absorbed. Okay. Kol klei shtiyos. So we said all drinking utensils, v'klei midos, and measuring utensils, tzrichin gan kem hagalah. Uklei zchuchis, and glass utensils, noagim b'mdinos elu, the custom in these countries, the lo mahani le'hagalah, that hagalah is not effective for them. V'chol klei matachos, so too metal utensils, shehein mehutachin mibifnim, that are coated inside, bihituch zchuchis, coated with molten glass enamel, ein lehem takana b'hagalah, cannot be fit for Pesach use with hagalah. So if it was used for non-kosher for Passover, cannot become now usable for Passover. Aval sagi behu belibun kal, but libun kal, which is direct fire, direct flame, suffices for them. Kamo maducha, as with a mortar, as mentioned previously. So certain things, I don't know what you would use that has metal and glass inside it, and then it's like in between the metals it has glass. But there are many things that you can ask a rabbi and find out whether or not any specific item can or cannot be kashered. Today we have a tremendous luxury of disposable plastic goods. It's really a miracle that we can have as a derivative of our, gasoline, right? Of oil, that's the petroleum, that we're able to make plastic. It's an unbelievable thing. And you can have beautiful, beautiful plasticware that people can use for your Pesach Seder. And people have plastic cups that, I'll tell you that instead of, I remember now, I did not use my Kiddush cup yesterday for lunch. I used instead a silver plastic. It looks silver. It looks real, right? A plastic silver Kiddush cup instead, because I can't use the silver ones. They're all going to be kasher, and I needed 24 hours, so they can't be used. So we used. You can also use glass. Okay. Halacha number 14. Ein mag'ilin. We have just one more page left. Halacha number 14. Ein mag'ilin el b'mayim. Hagalah is to be performed only with water. V'lo yehei b'hem shum tarovs, and nothing else should be mixed into it. Afilu efer kadome, even ashes should not be added to it. Nothing should be added to the water. Im higil harbe Keilim biyore, if he performed hagalah, kashering, on many utensils in succession in a single pot of boiling water, ad shenech erui hamayim ke'ein sir, where the water has now become murky like brine, ein magilin od behem, you should no longer use that water for hagalah. It should be clean water that's used for hagalah, for kashering. Halacha number 15, imagil al yidei tzivas, if he's using tongs for hagalah, I said use tongs for the silver to clean it. I didn't say use it for kashering. Shemachzik b'hem esakli, but if you do use tongs for kashering, so now you have to tzorch l'rapos esakli, he must loosen its hold on the utensil while it's in the water. V'lachzo v'letofso, and then to grab it again tightly after to pull it out. So here's the thing. If this was a silver item that I wanted to kasher, okay, this was a spoon. So now I grab it with the tongs and I put it into the water. The place that I'm holding it is not going to be kashered. So you have to loosen it just a little bit. So now it's all in the water, right? You see that? And now I grab it again and now I can take it out. You understand? So the tongs can't be on it 100% of the time. You got to loosen it so that some people, what they do is they'll put it into like a laundry basket, which is porous, or something like that. Even if it's still a metal one, they'll put all the utensils in there, and then they'll put that in the water, and they'll just shake it up in the hot water, and that way everything is completely independently in the hot water. Halacha number 15. Okay, so we're in the middle of that. Why? If he does not loosen it, Hare lo bo meimi Hagalah bimkom atzvas. Then the water of the Hagalah do not reach the place where the tongs are holding tightly onto the utensil, and the Hagalah will not be effective there. Vitov Yoser, it is better to avoid this issue entirely. Losam masakliba machruza, to place the utensil in a net. There you go. O betoch sal, or in a basket, and putting the basket into the cauldron. Velo yaniach Keilim harbe bepamachas, and not to put too many items, utensils, at once into this basket. Letocha kli shehu magil, into the utensil that he's performing kashering the Hagalah with it. Kedei shelo yigu biyachad, so that they don't not also attach, because there's water. It's going to keep them close together, and then the water is not going to get into those two plates. Imagine if you take two plates that you're kashering, and now they're stuck together from the water. You're not going to get right. You got to be careful that they're not touching the imkain. If so, if they are touching one another, b'makom nigiyasan and nig olin, because they are not going to have Hagalah in the area that they're touching. Halacha number 16. Ein lahagil. One should not perform Hagalah on a utensil ela kli she'eino ben yomo, unless the utensil has not been used within 24 hours. Again, there has to be a 24-hour period of not using this item. All right, that's understood? We got it? Dehainu shekvar over me'es la'es, that at least a 24-hour period has passed from when it was used to when you're kashering it. V'chol hayor shemagilin bom. Similarly, a cauldron in which Hagalah is performed le'eh ben yom, it itself, the basin that is boiled up with boiling water, shouldn't have been used for 24 hours. V'yashgiach, one should be vigilant to ensure shebechol pam shehu nosin esakli l'toch hayora, that every time he inserts the utensil into the boiling water, yalu amayim retichus, that the water is still boiling, because it eventually can cool off. So what they do here in the community Hagalah, originally started by torch, so they have these fires, these very, very strong fires under these big cauldrons, these big bowls or big basins, let's even call them, filled with water, and it's constantly bubbling, right? And you put in the whatever it is, the utensils that you want to kasher, and then they pull them out with the net, whatever it is that they're putting it in with, and then it's still bubbling. But if it were to cool down and it's not bubbling, you can't kasher more things in there till it gets to the bubbling temperature. And if one needs Hagalah on the cauldron itself, all right, if you need the actual basin that you're doing the kashering with, right, and due to its size is unable to put the entire utensil into a different utensil, then when the water is boiling, the cauldron should be full. He can throw intensely heated stones into the pot, into the cauldron, right? So that the boiling water should run over the lips of the utensil, and the lips of the utensil will thus be kashered as well. So you want to make sure that the entire cauldron becomes kashered. So what happens is you fill it up as much as you can. It starts boiling. Now put a steaming hot rock in there. What's going to happen? It's going to overflow over the edges, and now the entire pot has been kashered. One should perform Hagalah until midday of Erev Pesach. So if a person is doing the kashering, it should not be done after half the day. Does anybody remember why? So I'm going to read to you here, which we said that there's a certain time by which you should not have something which is chametz in your possession. Okay, so after half the day already, you shouldn't have it. So it shouldn't be kashered from its status of being non-kosher anyway then. Which is the time when chametz becomes prohibited on a biblical level. If possible, it is preferable that Hagalah be performed before the beginning of the 5th seasonal hour of the day, at which time chametz becomes prohibited rabbinically. These precautions are taken based on the concern mentioned above in note 52, which we can see soon, that the prohibited chametz flavor that emerges from the utensil during Hagalah will re-enter the utensil and cause it to become prohibited. One who did not perform Hagalah before midday may perform Hagalah until evening. One should consult with a halachic authority for advice as to what precautions should be taken when performing Hagalah at that time. Hagalah may not be performed on Pesach, since then even a minute portion of chametz is prohibited. Thus, if a small amount of chametz that was purged from the utensil into the waters re-enters the utensil will remain prohibited. Libun, however, may be performed on Pesach. So Libun is the direct fire, if you're direct flame, right, like my blowtorch that I have, so that you can do on the intermediary days of Pesach. Halacha Yud Zayin, we have two more very short halachas for this siman. Noagin, it is customary, Sha'achar Hagalah, immediately after performing Hagalah, shotfenas Keilim, we rinse the utensils b'mayim karim, with cold water. We mentioned this previously. That is our minhag, and that's how we observe these laws of Hagalah. Halacha number 18, the final halacha of this siman. Due to the complexities and many variables entailed in performing the Hagalah, the kashering process, one must be vigilant to ensure that it is properly performed. In this sieves, Kitzer addresses this issue further. If possible, yesh lahagil b'fnei Baal Torah. It is best to perform the kashering in the presence of a Torah scholar, someone who's knowledgeable in the laws of kashering. Habaki b'dinei Hagalah, someone who's well versed in the laws of Hagalah. Because when you're changing the status of something completely from something which is chametz, used ordinarily throughout the year, and you'll have questions that come up. What do I do if there's like different parts, different pieces? There's complicated questions that come up. It's best to do it, which is why I always prefer and I always recommend that people use our community Hagalas Keilim, which is today in Houston, Texas, so that way, and we'll talk about the exact location after we go offline, why? Because you have rabbis there who can help you. If you have any question on any specific item, they will be able to answer it right there and then. So, my dear friends, this concludes Siman 116. Join us in the next segment of our Everyday Judaism podcast, Ask Away number 38. My dear friends, have a remarkable week.
You've been listening to Rabbi Aryeh Wolbe on a podcast produced by Torch, the Torah Outreach Resource Center of Houston. Please help sponsor an episode so we can continue to produce more quality Jewish content for our listeners around the globe. Please visit torchweb.org to donate and partner with us on this incredible endeavor.
Thank you, Rabbi. I understand there's a fundraiser going on. Why would listeners want to donate to Torch versus other organizations?
So very, very good question. Very valid question. I want to tell you something like this, okay? Torch is here for one reason. Torch is here to share the word of Torah with the world. Any one of you listeners out there listening on a podcast, listening in a video, last year alone, our video exposure grew 295%. If I told you that there was an investment in the stock market that is going to grow 295%, everyone would invest. I am telling you, my dear listeners, that last year our YouTube videos alone grew 295% by our viewership. Our podcast, there are many podcasts that grew by well over 200% as well. This is a great investment. I really believe so. I really feel this in my bones. I know myself that I keep a very meticulous log of all of our videos. Last year in 2025, we published 1,092 videos. I don't know about you, but I think that's a lot of videos. Baruch Hashem. To me, it's an exceptional privilege to be able to teach and learn Torah together with so many amazing people, not only you here in the room and those of you on Zoom every day, but also those listening on the podcasts and those of you watching live online or later online, or video on demand. And we're on all these different platforms. It's all because we have a foundation here in Houston, Texas, where we learn, teach from our Torch Center, and share that Torah with the world. That's just one component. We have the Torch Center, we have our Torch Media. We also have Torchwood, which is a Torch community with now 15 families, robust programming for the men, for the women, for the children. Every Shabbos, there's over 100 people there for Kiddush and for davening. It's unbelievable what goes on over there. And then we have our newest young professional division, our Unify. It's just unbelievable the things that are going on. And what we're trying to do is really open up for people one time a year where we ask everyone to invest in Torch. This is a time, get in on the ground floor, because the mitzvahs that we're trying to do, we cannot do without the support of the community. That's the honest truth. I don't say it as a cliche, oh, we're partners, da-da-da-da. We cannot do it. We can't keep these lights on. We can't record. We can't have these cameras. We can't do the broadcasting. We can't do any of this without the support of our partners. And therefore, this 1 week that you have, you can go to givetorch.net, givetorch.net, and contribute. Every dollar that you contribute is matched by donors. The entire week, the campaign will be up till we reach our goal, because this is our budget for the year. We do everything we can to not stop even a single program to raise money. We're continuing. All of our classes will be on. Our Monday Lunch and Learn will be on. Our Monday night Musar Mondays will be on. Our Tuesday morning classes will be on. Tuesday night classes, Wednesday, everything is on. Because that's why we're here. We're here not to raise money. We're here to teach Torah. So if y'all would be so kind and generous and support us, we'll be able to end this campaign just like they did for the temple. Right? What happened in the temple? They said, enough donations. I'm ready to do the same. Please help us, my dear friends. GiveTorch.net. GiveTorch.net. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate your question.
Now, I want to talk about giving to Torch.
Okay.
We are so blessed that God has given us, and it's not just for us, it's for the whole world. As a matter of fact, our choice being chosen is to be a light to the nations, to bring Torah to everyone. Okay? They don't have to all do the commandments, but this is, as you have often said, the owner's manual for living. And for those of us who grew up at a time where a good Jewish education was not available to us, now there was a little bit here, a little bit there. I am so grateful that I get to come here 4 times a week. But more importantly, as a good friend of mine once said, if you could learn everything from a video or a book, there would be no universities. And here at Torch, not only can you come and participate, but even if you can't come, we take people on Zoom who ask questions. And I don't know any other organization where you can actually participate long distance with a rabbi. So studying Torch is like trying to eat an elephant. You do it one bite at a time. How do you learn Torah? One bite at a time. And that's what you give to us. And for all of you out there, not only is this invaluable, you couldn't put a dollar value on it, but in addition to that, it's always free. And the only way it is always free is if you help provide the funds that we need. They only ask once. You go to some places every single week, they pass the pot and try to get money out of you. Yeah. But here, they wait once a year. They don't bother you. They don't send out a gimme. Once a year. That's all we ask. GiveTorch.net. All my friends are my friends from class. And my rabbis, they're my friends. That is my solicitation from y'all to please contribute. GiveTorch.net. Thank you for letting me speak.
Supporting Torch is one of the best things you could possibly do. It will change your life, Jewish, not Jewish. Being part of Torch will inspire you, will teach you life lessons, and will give you all the tools you need to be successful in life, marriage, family, and all areas of your life. Support Torch if you can. We thank you very much.
I know with confidence that the Almighty will succeed our way and we will raise all the money we need to continue to operate. But I want you to be part of it. And if you can please, whatever donation amount, the smallest, the largest, it doesn't make a difference. I want you as a partner. If you can please go to givetorch.net and donate so that you can be a partner in what we're doing, I'd greatly appreciate it. And I hope you enjoy this episode.